There once was a man in a warm coat, walking his way down a winding road.
There was a man in a warm coat, walking his way down a winding road.
The sun and the wind, high in the sky, watched the man as he walked by.
The sun and the wind, high in the sky, watched the man as he walked by.
The wind bragged to the sun, "I'm the strongest one. I'm much stronger than you." "Really?" said the sun. "Then I challenge you to a contest of strength. Let us see who can take the coat off of that man on the road."
The wind bragged to the sun, "I'm the strongest one. I'm much stronger than you." "Really?" said the sun. "Then I challenge you to a contest of strength. Let us see who can take the coat of that man on the road."
"Oh, that's too easy," howled the wind. "I'll huff and I'll puff. I'll blow to the brim. I'll rip his coat off of him. I'll smash him against the trees. I'll take his coat off with ease."
"Oh, that's too easy," howled the wind. "I'm huff and I'll puff. I'll blow to the brim. I'll rest in peace this coat of him. I'll smash him against the trees. I'll take his coat off with ease."
So the wind blew harshly down the road. The man clutched tightly to his coat. The wind grew loud. The wind grew cold. The shivering man buttoned up his coat.
So the wind blew harshly down the road. The man clutched tightly to his coat. The wind grew loud. The wind grew cold. The shivering man buttoned up his coat.
The birds clung to the trees. The world was dust and leaves.
The birds clung to the trees. The world was dust and
But the harder the wind blew down the road, the tighter the man held on to his coat.
but the harder the wind blew down the road, the tighter the man held onto his coat.
Discouraged, the wind blustered off with a gust and a swirl. Then
Discouraged, the wind burst off with a gust and a swirl.
Then the sun peeked out from behind a cloud, warming the air and the frosty ground.
Then the sun peeked out from behind a cloud, warming the air and the frosty ground.
The man on the road unbuttoned his coat. He lifted his voice and sang out loud.
The man on the road unbuttoned his coat. He lifted his voice and sang out loud.
The sun grew even brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter.
The sun grew even brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter.
And brighter. The man began to feel so hot, he took off his coat and sat down in a shady spot.
The man began to feel so hot. He took off his coat and sat down in a shady spot.
The wind returned and said to the sun, I huffed and I puffed and I blew to the brim, but I could not force the man's coat from him. I can't imagine that you were able to either.
The wind returned and said to the sun, I huffed and I puffed and I blew to the brim, but I could not force the man's coat from him. I can't imagine that you were able to either.
The wind stopped howling long enough to look down. There was the man, sitting under a tree. Lo and behold! His coat was folded up like a pillow under his head.
The wind stopped howling low enough to look down. There was the man sitting under a tree. Lo and behold, his coat was folded up like a pillow under his head.
How did you force him to take off his coat? The wind asked in amazement.
How did you force him to take off his coat? The wind asked in amazement.
The sun replied, I did not force him at all. I lit the day. Through gentleness I won my way. There must have been a trick, grumbled the wind.
The sun replied, I did not force him at all. I lit the day. Through gentleness I won my way. There must have been a trick, grumbled the wind.
A trick, grumbled the wind. It's not a trick, said the sun. It's a choice and a skill. Would you like me to show you?
It's not a trick, said the sun. It's a choice and a skill. Would you like me to show you?
The sun just smiled.
The sun just smiled.